Ladies and gentlemen, let's be upstanding as we welcome the Vice Chancellor of the University of Professional Studies, Professor John Kweku Mensah Mautoa, visionary leader.
Good evening. Are you not happy to see me? So give me a smile. Good. So, good evening, and I would like to acknowledge my Vice Chancellor, my Registrar, our special guest of honor, Mr. Abban, and all students here present. In fact, I would also like to acknowledge my lecturers and my colleague, management from the School of Graduate Studies. You are all very warmly welcome to this evening's program. This program, known as the Practitioners Forum, is something we do every year as part of our training for our graduate students. We all know one thing about UPSA. Our mantra is scholarship with professionalism. We don't train you just for theory. We train you so we can also prepare you for the corporate world. And so this Practitioners Forum is to give you a practical insight into the opportunities that exist outside or in the corporate world, some of the challenges, and also bring experts from the industry to interact with us so that some of the challenges, knowledge we want, we can interact with these experts to acquire this knowledge. This year's theme is Dynamic Strategies for Global Industry Leadership. I believe there's a lot we will learn. And this is not just a program to make us happy. So please, take your pen and paper. If it is your mobile phone and you are recording, record, take notes, because at the end of the day, you will be assessed. This is a 3-credit-hour program. So it is not a free seminar where we can come, sit, enjoy, drink, and go home. No, you will be assessed. And as has been communicated to all of you, it will carry 60% of the marks. The various seminars and assessments you've had in class carries 40%. And attendance also, plus the IAs you have done or the seminars and the assessment, will all add up to the 100%. If you don't pass this, I'm sorry to say you will not get to graduate in November or October when we hold the graduation. So please, for your colleagues who are not here, let them know. It is today and tomorrow. Attendance carries marks, assessment carries marks. Thank you. So on that note, we are all welcome. And now I would also want to introduce our chairman for this evening's occasion. He is no less a person than the Vice Chancellor of the University of Professional Studies, Accra. He is my boss. He is my mentor. He is my role model. I look up to him. He whips me. He challenges me. He pushes me. And I thank God for bringing me to this place to work under such a man as Professor Mahuto. Senior Chairman, Prof. Please, over to you.
Thank you, Doc. Just as Doc mentioned, I think she's rather the one who really moved us for the first time we met. Okay? But before I tell the story, let me acknowledge the presence of our industry leaders and players. Let me acknowledge the presence of the registrar, Mrs. Lauren John, our esteemed faculty members and staff of the School of Graduate Studies, as well as the entire university, and then our cherished speaker, and the media here present, and above all, our cherished graduate students who always fuel the University of Professional Studies with financial muscle. We are very grateful for that. I thought you'd clap for yourselves. In fact, let me tell you something about your current dean, your current acting dean, how we met. And the day she launched her book, I told the audience the same thing. And it boils down to always prepare. The preparedness of every human being, wherever you find yourself. So today, let me share something with you. Probably it will change somebody's destiny today. So during COVID, this lady walked into an interview room, and she was very, very, very eloquent. Answered virtually every question, including the model she used for her PhD. And she explained it very well than a financial accounting student, because she used a financial model. And that caught my attention. Now, around the same period, we wanted to organize this same program, Practitioners Forum. And the one we have penciled for the program wasn't well. So I was looking for someone to take the place of this lady. So after the interview, I asked her. So I changed the interview into Practitioners Forum for her to tell us what table manners were. And she answered it very well. Then I asked her what practitioners are supposed to do. She answered it very well. Then after the interview, I called her and asked whether she can step in for this program. She willingly accepted to step in. Preparedness. And she was to speak to over 1,000 students electronically. Lo and behold, I was just praying for this lady to deliver. And she delivered beyond my expectation. And that's your acting dean. And guess how she got a job? So after everything, I went to my vice chancellor. By then, I was the dean of the graduate school. VC, please, this lady, let's prepare her appointment letter for her. And within a week, she had her job here. So you are a testimony I'm sharing today. And it boils down to always prepare for the task ahead. And that's the essence of this particular program. Some of you have all that it takes, but there are some missing links. And that is why UPSA chooses this particular program as the last lot to prepare you out there. And I am also a testament of this program. In fact, I guess you probably can imagine my background based on some of us, our background, where we come from. A typical young man brought up in Accra, Newtown, who found himself in UPSA with all the academics, because for us, UPSA was the best, which is still the best. When others were lamenting, it was our best, so we gave in all. And something I learned, which I never knew, I've told you my background from Accra, Newtown. You know, when you are invited to the table, the first thing that comes to mind is that you need to consume the food the way it must be consumed. I can tell you that after my session in UPSA, when this program was organized, that was the first time before I got to know that there are table manners. I never knew about table manners. Because the food, sometimes we eat it without table. So what manners are we talking about here? Because when the food comes, you grab it and eat it as it is. And coming from a family, you need to eat fast, else, just by the way. So through this program, I learned how to communicate on a table. Even if the food is not nice, the way and manner you arrange the fork and knife speaks volume. I know some of you do not know, but if the food is nice, there's a way you place the fork and knife on the plate. There's a way when you place it, in fact, you cause some discomfort to the restaurant because they understand the table manners. It was through this program I got to know that when you are going for an official occasion, eat well before you go for a professional dinner. I didn't know, because those days when you are invited to a dinner, it is an opportunity to go and eat. But it was through this program that I got to know that when you are going for a professional dinner, your company sends you for a professional dinner, you have to eat before going. That's not a place to go and eat. That place is for you to go and network. And the quantity of food on your plate defines who you are. Look, don't be deceived when you go for such programs and someone has only bread, and probably some small meat by it. It's not because they don't like meat, but we call it professional etiquette. You don't eat anyhow. And today and tomorrow, some of you will be exposed to some of these trainings for you to appreciate the realities in life. That in the corporate world, you need to learn and unlearn some other things, which I have done to perfection. Now, just as I mentioned, we are so much honored to have Mr. Kofi Amoa-Abban, CEO of Rigworld Group. And we all know that he will tell us some inspiring stories and will also solicit feedback from us as well. While sitting there, he was telling me how to engage you. I'm sure that by the end of today, you learn something you didn't know. And that is all about education. At UPSA, just as you know, our mission goes beyond the classroom excellence. We aim to bridge the gap between theory and practice. We want our graduate students to become leaders who understand frameworks and models and can also make real things happen in real time, just like that we have in the corporate world. To our students, please be encouraged to take opportunities seriously, just as I shared with you when your acting dean took this opportunity some few years ago. I'm talking about less than 4 years, about 4 years. And you see the way, 5 years. And it tells you she was prepared. That is why there were lecturers who were here before she came, but now she's an acting dean, because she was prepared for the job. People don't understand why you were nominated to act when we were waiting for a dean. Listen carefully, ask tough questions, and open yourselves up to new ideas. Indeed, this is a rare chance to learn from our industry leaders, building businesses and shaping industries. Let me once again thank you so much for being part of UPSA. We know that you are just praying in the coming days to leave the shores of UPSA. I can assure you that you will miss us. In fact, you will miss us. And you wish to come back again. In fact, when you make that decision, our arms are open to embrace you back to UPSA so that we can continue to instill and imbibe the professionalism in you so that you can pay more. Let me thank you once again. And I wish you a thought-provoking session with our speakers. And by close of today and tomorrow, I know and pray that destinies will change. In fact, I can only ask that the good Lord blesses you and give you the serenity to understand whatever will be presented today. Please don't take it for granted, but the good Lord will guide you and open your eyes to the things, the opportunities around you have not seen yet. After this program, may the good Lord cause you to see them. Thank you so much for your audience.
Thank you, Professor J.K. Mensah-Mawuto. Life lessons, well taken. I've taken some few notes, and I'm sure you've already started penning down some few points. So, just so we can move straight into the business of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to share a little biography about the young man who is about to take the platform now to speak to us. He is a distinguished Ghanaian entrepreneur in the oil and gas sector, widely recognized for his visionary leadership and unwavering commitment to success. He's an old boy of Infantipin Boys Secondary School and graduated from the University of Ghana, Legon, with a degree in psychology. He holds a master's degree from the University of Oslo, Norway. And in February 2016, I beg your pardon, he received an honorary doctorate in business administration, honoris causa, from Commonwealth University and London Graduate School. As the CEO of Rigworld Solutions, he's built a thriving oil services business across West Africa, leveraging his extensive industry expertise to drive growth and innovation. Renowned for his reliability, strategic thinking, and strong work ethic,
I'm a little bit shy, but don't worry. Vice Chancellor of UPSA, Mr. Professor John K. Mawuto, Dean of the School of Graduate Studies, distinguished faculty and staff, honored guests, and above all, forward-thinking students of UPSA. Good evening. The last time I had an opportunity to mount a podium was my mom's funeral last year, which I cried. But today I'm not here to cry. I'm here to inspire you and tell you some of the innovative and strategic things Rigworld, as an indigenous Ghanaian company, has done so far to achieve success in the upstream petroleum industry. It is an honor and privilege to stand before you today, not just as the CEO of Rigworld Solutions, but as someone who once sat in your seat, uncertain about the future, yet determined to make a difference. Today, I want to speak not only about where oil and gas industry is headed in Ghana, but more importantly, how you, the bright students, or the graduating students of UPSA, can lead it into a new era of innovation and excellence. I'm not used to standing, so. But before I start my sermon tonight, I'd like to ask a simple question. How many of you here are hoping to start your own business? If I can see your hands up. How many of you? Okay. And how many of you are hoping to travel to abroad to seek greener pastures? Right now, the city is strong, you know that. Okay. You see, those of you who are planning to commence or start your own business, I'd like to say that it's just a springboard for you to become a millionaire. It's a springboard for you to become a billionaire. And it's a springboard for you to become a trillionaire. I would like to talk about Ghana's energy potential, the oil and gas. Then I'll come back to the theme of today, which is innovative strategies for success in the oil and gas industry. When Ghana struck first oil at the Jubilee Fields in 2007, it marked more than a turning point. It marked actually a challenge. How would we manage this resource? How would we ensure that the value stayed in country? At Rigworld, we asked ourselves those same questions, and the answer we came up was innovation. But not just in technology, but in local content development, efficient operations, and strategic partnerships. I'd like to share some of the innovative strategies that have transformed Rigworld into an oil and gas company, but not only in Ghana, in the West Africa region. So I came to Ghana 2010. And Ghana have already discovered oil and gas in 2007. And at that time, I used to work offshore as a rig worker. And anytime we go offshore, when my colleagues are so busy gossiping about their CEOs and their MD, I was very focused. Moving around the vessel, when I say a vessel, like a drill ship, and writing notes, how to register a company, if I register a company, what I need to do next, if I need an office, if I don't need an office. I was putting all those points down and all down. In 2011, I incorporated Rigworld through my beloved late mom, Kofi Amoa-Abban, may her soul rest in peace, who gave me some. The last time I said at the funeral that she gave me 300 to incorporate a company, social media blew it out that that's another form of someone washing 5,000 plates. Kofi Amoa-Abban also saying 300 Ghana cedis and all that. So my journey started in 2011 when oil and gas was still new in country. But as somewhere in 2014 or 15, they introduced the local content laws in Ghana, whereby indigenous Ghanaian companies that want to participate in the industry or foreign companies coming to Ghana need to form strategic partnership with indigenous Ghanaian companies with carried interest of 10% and other. So Rigworld, being an indigenous Ghanaian company that we started from a humble beginning, whereby we used to just provide procurement services offshore. When I say procurement services, you buy goods and services and you supply and you get paid and all that. Then we started with a little bit of manpower and all that, but it wasn't much. But when they introduced local content, what were we thinking about? What was the strategy for us to actually dominate the industry? One of the strategies that I deployed was that I realized that when I came to Ghana, my first oil and gas training, I had it in SMTC, in the Regional Maritime University, which was owned by Malaysians at that time. So I realized that they were having just monopoly over the industry. It's like they are the only training center in Ghana. At that time, to be honest with you, I was broke. If you ask me that Kofi bring even $50,000 or $100,000 to even establish a training center, I would say no, I don't have it. But with the introduction of the local content laws in Ghana, in 2013, there was a company coming to Ghana called Mex Drilling. And as part of the local content laws, they need to form a joint venture with an indigenous Ghanaian company. So I happened to be selected. And at that time, I was, let's say, 32 or 31 years, very young at that time. And we entered into a JV with Mex Drilling to drill for ENI, which was like an 18-well campaign and all that. But because I was so strategic in negotiating in the JV agreement, and at that time, my strategy was to make sure that I don't actually go for the money, but I participate in the JV to build technical capacity. But at the same time also, I have to be rewarded with what? Good revenue. So when I realized that this SMTC company is the only company dominating in oil and gas in terms of training and capacity building. And when I talk about training, the survival trainings and all that, I quickly decided to pick an economic class ticket. I went to Dubai to a training college called Petrofac, which is one of the biggest oil and gas companies. Went to Malaysia, and all of them gave me a different proposal. Some $5 million, $10 million, and I didn't have that cash on me. So what did I do? My relationship with Mex Drilling, the amount of money that we were making, we had 10% in the joint venture structure from the revenue. What I did was that I went to Takrady And this is one of the strategies I deployed. When I went to Takrade, I saw some of the local chiefs, and I acquired a parcel of land, very, very cheap, good deal. And I didn't have enough money at that time to even afford a good architect. So what I did was that I saw this young guy who was called Godwin, who was, I think, 3rd year in tech doing Akito. And I said, Godwin, listen, I don't have enough money, but the strategy over here is that I've visited all these training centers. I have an idea how they look like. I'm just going to tell you, and all that I want you to do is that just put in the plans, the engineering design. I'll get someone from also tech to help me. So what we did was that 2016-17, we started constructing this oil and gas training center. We were able to commission it in 2017. It became a success. And today, all I can say is that Rigworld Training is the biggest training center currently in Ghana. And what we are even doing right now, that we are even about to open an ultra-modern one in Ivory Coast, which is going to be the first of its kind in Ivory Coast, and is owned by what? A Ghanaian. So the strategy here we deployed was that we actually formed local strategic joint venture partners with some of these foreign companies. But the key strategy over here is that when you go there, what most students and what most young entrepreneurs is that when they start making money, the first thing they think of right now is to buy what? A luxurious car to show off. Am I lying? The boys, to prove a point that you arrived. But in my case, I was very strategic. I was so much focused on local content. I was so much focused in becoming the #1 industry expert when it comes to oil and gas training. So we completed this project successfully by adapting this strategy of having depend on local content with mix drilling. The second strategy was we champion local content. When I say we champion local content over here is that what's the whole idea of local content in oil and gas? It's about capacity building, training of indigenous Ghanaian technicians and all that. So what I did was that I met my team again. Some are even here, Stephen, Humphrey, Steve Ofori, they are all seated here. And we said to ourselves that if we as a company, the law states that we should actually take 10% in most of the oil and gas joint venture agreements in order to be able to participate in some of the tier 1 contracts. Then what we have to do is that right now we need to exhibit more local content and even go for 20 or what? 30%. But in this time around, we'll change the strategy whereby we'll make sure that some of our joint venture companies hire the local people and transfer skills and technical know-how to these indigenous Ghanaian companies. In that case, we are building in-house technical expertise. So some of our employees who, to be honest with you, I'll tell you the truth, they were not PhD holders, they were not even master's degree. They were like, just like myself and you over here. We had opportunity, we put them through some of the joint venture companies to learn, to build capacity, and also to have the transfer of skills and technical know-how from the foreign company towards the local company. And as a company, I realized something about the oil and gas, and this was one of the good strategies that we deployed. Whenever foreign companies come to Ghana, because Petroleum Commission at that time were not holding workshops to educate indigenous Ghanaian companies on how to negotiate or how to be invited to the table and actually take whatever belongs to you, be it commercially and all that. What I did was that I started looking at the industry, some of the products that we always import from overseas and all that. And most of the products that we actually importing were basic consumables. It could be stud bolts, it could be hoses, it could be valves and all that. Then I started researching with my team into what companies in Aberdeen that we can partner, and companies that are also willing to invest in country or in Ghana. There's a company we met called SCORE. Most of you know just Rigworld, but today I'll talk about most of our businesses that most of you are not even aware. SCORE was one of the biggest valve manufacturing company in the world. And so we went to Aberdeen with my team. Dr. Kwame Nyampo over here was with me during the meeting. Went, did a factory tour of their facility. We convinced them, and we said that, listen, we want to bring you to Ghana, but on condition that we are going to form a joint venture. Because what the local content law states is that foreign companies coming to Ghana needs to have what? A local partner. But in this joint venture over here, it's not going to be 10-90. It's going to be what? 50-50. And these guys were shocked. The black man sitting in front of them saying that you want 50-50. What's your expertise? What resources do you have? And all that. So lo and behold, they bought into it, came to Ghana, and today, if I'm to boast or I'm to brag over here, we are the biggest valve workshop, even in West Africa over here. We work in all the African countries, from Senegal to Nigeria to Angola to Ivory Coast and other. So one of the key successes that we did as indigenous Ghanaian company was we're able to form what we call strategic partnership with some of the foreign companies, but this time around, taking advantage of the local content and also asking for what? More equity for us to build our capacity, both technically and also financially. I have a lot of friends in oil and gas business, and let me tell you a funny thing. A lot of them say that, Kofi Amoa-Abban, you travel too much, you don't stay in Ghana, and all that. And the question I keep asking them is that, as a businessman, most of you sitting over here, you always think that when you spend money to travel, you think that you are wasting money for flight tickets and all that. But in the business world over here, I'm not wasting money, or Rigworld, we're not wasting money. All that we're doing was that we're thinking what? Globally. Do you understand coming from? When I say globally over here is most of the oil and gas conferences they do in Houston, OTC. Most of the conferences they do in South Africa, Africa Oil Week, in Aberdeen and all that. We participate. But the strategy over here in oil and gas is that once we get to the conference over here, we focus on the technical presentations. We focus on the networking aspect. There was a time we went to OTC conference, and it was 2017. But the MPP guys over here, don't be offended. It's not politics, what I'm about to say. So MPP has come to power, and they heard about oil and gas, so they think it's so they're going to share money here at the conference. So it's like half of Accra was at Houston, Texas. And during the conference, I stood quietly at one corner, watching some of my colleagues come for all these conferences. And I was asking myself, what strategy are they deploying to make sure that after these conferences, they're able to grab some of the businesses or the opportunities or the partnerships and all that? Guess what they were doing? How many of you will guess? You want to guess? As usual, and as Ghanaians, they were busy going through the stands, the exhibition booths, picking souvenirs. Some were picking toffees, some were picking gums, some were picking dates, and all that. Then I realized that, no, my strategy will be different. So what I did, and there's a testimony, I approached a company called Petrofac. That was 2017. At the exhibition. And me, because I'm a good talkative, I started talking, marketing. I was so passionate about what I was saying in terms of Petrofac, come to Ghana, there are opportunities in operation and maintenance, please, I'll be your local partner. When you come, I'll make sure that we invest this. We have the facilities, so your investments, initial investments or capex will be limited and all that. Most people saw me that, as for Kofi Amoa-Abban, when he goes to conferences, the only time you see him is that he's in the booth always talking and all that. But it was a very good, amazing strategy. And today, that strategy has paid off. When I say it's paid off, is that currently we run the Kwame Nkrumah FPSO, that's Petrofacort IJV. But these were times that most of my colleagues could have taken advantage of the conference, deploy a good strategy to network, to get to some of the companies and bring them to Ghana. So in business, as you are going out there, most of the graduate students over here, it's not an issue of prayer. I'll be honest with you. In the equation to success, it's not an issue of fasting for 40 days or 50 days. In our modern way or contemporary of doing business, it's about what? Networking. Networking is a very good strategy that has helped the Rigworld. Most of the times when there's oil and gas conferences in Takoradi and all that, you see airline sponsors, Rigworld. We just go there just to network. Do you understand coming from? Because one thing I've realized about most young people coming who wants to start up business is that even their charisma. But let me teach you something. Whenever you wake up in the morning and you pick up your phone and the first 5 phone calls that comes to you are people calling you to ask of money or ask of favors and all that, and these are your friends and all that, change your network. I'm serious. Change your network. Growing up, when I came to Ghana, I was a boy that I grew up in Tema County 8. I never knew much about Accra and all that. And when I came back from Norway, I was living in a small student hostel in Mepasem and all that. I didn't have much network. The only network I had was my mate from Infantipum, my mate University of Ghana and all that. So when I started Rigworld, one of the key things I realized is that most of the businesses and the opportunities are not from even the Ghanaian companies. Because even what I'm looking for, the same Ghanaian companies are also looking for the same. So my strategy was that, guess what? These white boys, these Abidinoes, these Texas guys, they've been doing oil and gas business for the past how many years? 20 years, 30 years. So they have the technical capabilities, they have the technical skills, they have the financial resource and all that. So it's better if I network with them. So even to me currently, if you ask me who are my friends in Ghana, most of my friends are in overseas. I came from the US yesterday in the morning because one of my colleagues from Texas wanted me to visit. So networking in oil and gas industry is a very key strategy for success. And Rigworld, that has really helped us over here. We spend money towards network with the right people. When you're about to start a business and all that, don't go to people that will be demanding from you. People that the little working capital you have, especially the young boys over here with the girls, hold on for that. Do you understand coming from? Hold on. Don't go to, make sure that you create a network of great entrepreneurs around you. People that when you pick up phone and you tell them your business idea, they can challenge your thoughts. People that can even make you dream big and all that. So Rigworld, that was one of the key strategies that we deployed in what? In our growth in the oil and gas industry. The last thing that I also want to talk about, and that has been one of our great strategy in oil and gas business, is that, and it's a testimony, and I have a colleague of mine who is here, who didn't actually know that it was a strategy that I deployed somewhere in 2013. In 2013, I was in the office one day, and a group of guys came from Equatorial Guinea. The man was called Pedro and Mr. Fructuoso. At that time, to be honest with you, 2013, if you asked me to even give you $10,000, it would be a struggle. Even $5,000, it would be what? A struggle. But I remember that the only money I had is that to buy economy class tickets and go to Equatorial Guinea is easy. So these guys actually convinced me that, Mr. Abban, there are a lot of opportunities in Equatorial Guinea. We want you to come. The way you are very strategic, you are innovative, come and deploy the same like services that you are doing in Ghana, in Egypt. I thought about it. I went to Equatorial Guinea. And in the process, we started discussing joint venture. At that time, I couldn't even afford my lawyer over here, Kwame, because it was too expensive for me. Then, 2013, after incorporating and wasting all this money, guess what? No business. It's just company on the shelf and all that. But the thing about Rigworld is that we always think ahead. One of our key strategies is that always we are ahead of the game. Because as I said, in the industry, you need to network to know what is coming up. Then, somewhere last year, when my mom was a little bit sick, I was struggling with my mom's health and all that, we had an opportunity to go to Equatorial Guinea to go and what? Drill for a company called Cosmos and all that. But at that time, most of my team members didn't know that me, 2013 was when I was in Equatorial Guinea. I've already incorporated a company. I already have partners. Everything is already set. So one of the key strategies that when we went for the tender, and everybody was talking, oh, we can go there, set up, and this. When you got to my turn, I said, oh, we're already set up. We have a unique office. We have staff. We have this. But meanwhile, too, there wasn't any staff. The only staff I had was Steve Ofori. So I deployed Steve to Equatorial Guinea because Steve is a very seasoned guy in the oil and gas drilling business. He knows the in and out and all that. So I was there, then Steve called me. Boss, now what's on our pa? I say, why? Now say company, me share company registration, you registered no 2013. But how do you know, sir, there'll be an opportunity huge like this? Yeah, dear. And I told him, sir, listen, the beauty about oil and gas business is that you have to be strategic and you have to be what? Innovative. So most of the students over here that you're about to step out from UPSA, I would like to tell you something. You need to be strategic. The world is changing every day. You need to be innovative. Innovation is not about technology. No. Innovation is about looking at the value chain, what you can pick from the value chain, what you can create, do you understand coming from, what you can implement in country or in Ghana that will generate what revenue for you. I see a lot of people walk up and say, oil and gas is a capital-intensive industry. I don't have the money. I don't have the financial resources and all that. To me, in the value chain, there's something or there are low-hanging fruit that what you can start from. A very good example is how I said that Rigworld, we started as a very small company doing procurement services and all that. But today, we've been very creative. We've been very innovative. We've taken advantage of the local content laws in Ghana, which is being managed or is being held by a Petroleum Commission. We've taken advantage of networking with partners at the same time. We've taken advantage of building technical capacity. And the good thing that we've done right now is that we are thinking globally. Globally in the sense that we have a full-fledged open office in Ivory Coast. Coming in the month of August, we are going to open the first of its kind, an oil and gas training center, which, when I talk about strategic, we did that with the Maritime Institute in Ivory Coast, and today it's paying off.
So as you step out today, make sure that your network is very tight. Don't be deceived. It's not an issue of, I'll tell you for a fact, I'm a Christian. It's not an issue of prayer. It's an issue of being innovative. It's an issue of being creative. It's an issue of you being smart. It's an issue of you researching. It's an issue of reading. Stop wasting time. Sometimes people ask me, so Kofi, are you the one posting on TikTok and all that? I say, listen, I remember a colleague of mine, Jamal, recently was reading my Twitter post and say, Kofi, so do you have time to do generative? I say, Jamal, for the past 14 years, I wake up 4:30 every morning. By 5 a.m., I'm the first in the office. I know my secretary doesn't like it because sometimes when she comes and she meets me in the office, she frowns that, boss, who don't mind them too much. I'm the last to leave and order because one thing I've seen in Ghana, or one thing I've come to see with success especially, is that if you're so strategic and you're innovative, there's something that you need to also deploy: consistency and what? Focus. You need to be consistent with what you are doing and all that. One thing that I also realized in oil and gas business, which most people are not doing in the Rigworld we did, was that, to be honest with you, we sacrifice most of our short-term, maybe objectives or short-term plans for long-term stuff. There are days that my finance manager is here, Stephen, I can tell you for a fact, there are days that if he asks me 1,000 Ghana cedis, you see me dressed nicely, but I don't have it. Because I'm sacrificing, instead of going to buy a Lamborghini, instead of going to buy a Ferrari, instead of going to buy maybe a Rolls Royce and all that. The question I ask myself is that, if I can think globally, strategically, and set up Rigworld in all the African countries, do you know the number of people will be employing? Do you know how Ghana will be proud that right now in oil and gas, we started 15 years ago, and indigenous Ghanaian company are exporting their businesses outside and also practicing local content in different African countries? So I'll leave you with this, that please, as you step out of this auditorium today, get to understand that your strategy and how innovative you are in whatever business that you plan to start will determine the height of success that you can reach. For me, I can come here, I can say all the things I want to say, I can motivate you, I can say things that you stand up and say, yeah! But listen, as soon as I leave here, you're on your own. The rest is that you need to be strategic in everything that you do. To me, I've seen it happening in Rigworld, whereby we sit as a team, we strategize, and we go and we execute. Mr. Moderator, thank you so much for tonight. Despite I wasn't much prepared, but I think I've said my part. Thank you.
I thought we were going to give him a standing ovation and clapping. Oh, God. Listen, be on your feet and let's give a round of applause for Dr. Kofi Amoa-Abban, a very inspiring young man, impacting lives and generation. Please, may you have your seats now. And I've taken some few notes. I'm sure you've taken same. I'm going to go around and give you the opportunity, whilst he's here, to ask him some few questions that are bothering your minds. But a few things I picked from Dr. Abban is to build capacity before chasing the money. L'argent is good. But from what I've heard this evening, you need to build your capacity before you begin to chase the money. And he said you can start small, regardless of your capacity. You can start small. He started small. And the fact that the mother gave him 300 cedis to register a business, today, your airtime for the week, it'd be how much? Your MTN airtime, data, how much with that? You did spend all on Twitter, on TikTok. You can save that money to register a business. And this issue of local content, colleagues, let's take it very seriously. You see where he found it? He strategically checked the loophole in the system, positioned himself, and he squats on it. In fact, he sat. And today, this is Rigworld. A round of applause for Dr. Kofi Amoa-Abban. So, in few minutes, you can just raise up your hand, you introduce yourself, your name, the course you're offering, and straightforward. Just go straight forward to the question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Thank you, Doc, for the inspiring story. My name is Abednego. I'm offering MBA Corporate Communications. I have 3 questions. They are very brief. So I've seen that you studied psychology from the University of Ghana, and then you have some other master's degree from Oslo. So somebody with psychology now doing oil and gas, what's changed? Does it mean that the course was not fetching or there's no opportunity? That's why you diverted. The second question is that you mentioned that the first company or the company you partnered with first, you were able to, you heard that there's a company coming and then you leverage on the opportunity. So the question is, how did you hear about them? Then the last question is that usually when you are going into such partnership or you are even seeking for a job, they ask for your track record, your experience, what do you have? But I should think that as starting, you may not have that. So how did you cross that hurdle? Thank you.
Okay. So he set a precedent, but I'm going to retract 1 question each so that I can take like 3 questions in a row he answers, and I come back and take another 3. Do you agree? Okay. So he's asked 3 questions, so I'll allow Dr. Amoa-Abban to finish before.
The name is Abednego. I think it's a very good question, the first one, that someone from a background of humanities all the way to engineering. So what I did was, so when I came to Ghana 2010, Steve, can you stand up? So he was my boss. I used to work for a company manager, and he was my boss in that company. So I'm going to be very blunt and very honest and no hard feelings. When I finished in Fantipem, before I was about to finish in Fantipem, I realized that I had this perception that when you are from a rich home, when you are from a very good home, automatically, once you are done with secondary school, you get to go to abroad and life becomes easier, you get a good job and all that. Because I came from a family that it's not like we are super rich. My dad was an average person, my mom was an average person. And me, at the age of 12, my dad used to be a director at Tema Textiles Limited factory. And one day, after school, I went to his office and I saw someone cleaning. I said, I'm a fancy. Dadapa. Na hina mutu aneka. And my main cleaning na every man be na peka krama at the age of 12. So the hustling has been within me for some time. So when I came to Ghana 2010, and most of my friends, I'm being blunt, I see them wearing suit and tie, looking sharp, dapper like my brother over here, sitting at the back of cars, driving, air conditioning. They work with the bank, they work with the insurance company. And I say to myself, but you, how much are you earning? Oh, 3,000 Ghana cedis, 4,000 Ghana cedis. But because I was coming from Norway and I knew much about oil and gas industry, but not on the technical side and all that, I enrolled in the company and Steve was my boss. The first step was that I went offshore. I was working as an oil rig worker. And you know, no matter your background, whether humanities or you did drumming and dancing or whatever, automatically you have to learn on the job. Even if you don't have engineering mindset, you have to learn on the job. So that was how I was able to transition. Do you understand coming from? But the moderator says something. It's about taking strategic advantage, identifying the loophole, in the local content laws, and benefiting from it. That was the key. So it's not about me being humanities and coming to engineering and all that. But even right now, there's a studies. How do you convert humanity students to become engineers right now? And one of the easiest places to start is working offshore. I'm going to give you a testimony. A lot of people say Kofi Amoa-Abban doesn't have drivers for even 2 years, 3 years, which is very true. All my drivers that I've known from the office to even home, today, they don't have first degree. They don't have masters. They don't have any engineering background. But guess what? They are full-blown engineers offshore. A driver who cannot even write maybe 2-paragraph essay. Today, he's smarter, sharper than someone who has gone to tech and done petroleum engineering because he's on the field and understands the practical engineering. So my brother is very doable. The second question is, how did I hear about Megs Drilling coming to Ghana? I think you forgot something I told you. Your network. When I started very young, that time Petroleum Commission was new. People didn't know about it. GMPC was the regulator in oil and gas. When my friends were busy having fun, clubbing, going to places, bro, I was mingling with people in GMPC, my network. I was going to Petroleum Commission every Friday, sitting down, like sniffing for information. What is coming? Which industry? What company is coming? What does the law state? Oh, sir, if I bring it, can you help me strategize? Okay, how do I negotiate? Because I was inexperienced. But my network gave me that information. But guess what? Let me tell you a story that will blow off your mind. If the media said they can pick it up. It was a Saturday. I heard that information on a Friday. And they said that the representatives from Megs Drilling were lodging in Movenpick. At that time, I was dating a pretty girl called Wendy from Stanbic Bank. And the two of us were hustlers, Charlie, baking, crying. And I said, Wendy, I've heard that this company, they are lodging in Movenpick. But you know what? I'm going to try and send them an email if they respond. Saturday, please follow me and let me go and meet them. Lo and behold, I dropped an email. I had their email address. That I had their in-country looking for joint venture partners and all that. My company is Rigworld, we are an upstream oil and gas. All those poems. Crafted it very nicely. Then less than 10 minutes, I had a response that I should come forward the interview. Guys, I was like 29 or 30 years. And this is how God works. Do you understand coming from? You see, when I had that information, I didn't sleep. I didn't say, or I didn't procrastinate that tomorrow, I will send the email. I told Wendy that, Wendy, I'm going to drop the email. If they respond, we'll go. When we go to Movenpick, I saw this young, tall guy with an old man. And they invited me, asked me what I would drink. Humble, I said, just water. They asked me sparkling. I said, no, I'm not yet there. So you just give me water. Let me drink. And they told me to tell them my story, how young boy, 28 or 29, you want to be a JV partner. You know Maersk. When you talk Maersk shipping with the big vessels, you small boy. That was the perception in their head. But I think that time the favor of the Lord located me. When I say the favor located me so much so that I found favor in their eyes. The young guy, after interviewing and telling them that, it was my mother who gave me 300 Ghana cedis to incorporate a company, not to start a company, incorporate. I'm just clearing myself. Okay. I think the old man also has a little bit past. His past is a little bit rough like mine. So he bought into the story. And the young guy said, Kofi, Monday we'll send you what we call a KYC form, fill it up and everything, and you hear from us. At that time, ask Steve, my office was in Roma Ridge, like a 3-bedroom house. It's the same office, it's the same house I sleep, and all that. Then quickly, Sunday, we put in some presentation. Monday, straight. Tuesday, they called me and said, Kofi, are you available to come to Copenhagen? I said, yeah, I'm available, I'll come. Make yourself in visa. Then I called some few friends I have who does visa stuff, and they said, okay, they can help me get a visa. I went to Copenhagen, and guess what? With my background in Norway, I speak a little bit of Norsk, so Danish, and there's some similarity. Everybody in the office, listen, I found so much favor. When I say favor, favor beyond human understanding. Something that it would take years and all that, they were giving me everything just like that. So that's how I came in contact with what? Maersk. Your last question. You see, in business, sometimes you have to be honest to yourself. The question that he asked now, most companies, for you to approach them, the key thing they want to ask is that, what's your track record? It's very true. Even in competitive tenders, they ask you your track record, what you've done in the past, and all that. But the thing about me is that I don't have filters. So some of my friends don't like me. I say the way it is. Because, once you live in Europe and you come to Ghana, it's like you don't have room to play like games. It's just straight. So when I'm actually going to look for joint ventures and all that, I leverage what I have. What do I have? My local knowledge of what? The industry. It's not about the money. It's not about my track record. But when you come to Ghana, a very good thing is that if you want visa, I can facilitate it for you. Immigration, I can do this for you. This. You see, you start a relationship organically, small. And once they believe and trust that, listen, you don't have a track record, right now it's our duty to what? Build you. So sometimes I play the mindset game. Even if I have the capacity, Chief, I have the track record. Are you listening? Yes, sir. Sometimes I behave I don't have it. For you to feel that you're a bigger company, so you need to what? Build me up. So it's not all situations. Some situations, be honest, be blunt about it. Do you understand? Come, sell your story. That, listen, it's the fire that's burning in you. That, like, you want to excel. It's not like, Chief, I have facilities, I can break $10 million and all that. Listen, you need to start organically. Do you get me? Thank you.
And I'll take from a lady in the middle. From there, I'll come there. One question.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Abban, for blessing us today with your story. You spoke profoundly about your international trips for business, and I wanted to ask a question about how you were able to consistently, maintain a positive relationship with your business prospects, but I think you answered most of it. So now I want to find out, did you have any fear of rejection, approaching your prospects, or did you feel like you were being a nuisance at some point? How did you handle that, and what would your advice be to all of us? Thank you.
I'm very, very happy about the testimony Doc was giving concerning Brother Steve. I work with Steve in Managing International. And he was a very hardworking guy. And I know that Rigworld then was one of the competitors of Managing. And of course, I moved into Unilever, into the manufacturing sector. But I've been there for almost about 5 years, so I know a bit of the oil and gas sector. And I know very well that, of course, with all what Doug has said, there are a lot of opportunities. I want to also open it up to the guys, all of us here. I mean, there's a catering business in the oil and gas that we can also take advantage of. There's also what we call car rentals, and then also hotel businesses, because the people who come in and out, they have to sleep, and so you need hotel. I'm very sure Doc may even talk more about some of these things. But what I want to say is that we also lack capacity in terms of human capital that we need. Those days, we used to employ people from Nigeria and other places. We have the roastabout, the Derrick men, the ABC men, and the like. I don't know if today they are still there. I mean, the gap is still there, that we still employ people from those places to come and work. Or probably Rigworld have been able to mitigate the gap, and now everything is going on smoothly in the oil and gas industry. But on the whole, you've done fantastically well, because looking at the competitors in during those time, and looking at how you have been able to muzzle and do what I could see, kudos, well done. Thank you.
It's more like a compliment, so I'll go to number 2, right?
All right, thank you. My name is Timothy Doche, MABC. Thank you, Doc, for the knowledge impartation. Please, from the beginning, you asked a question about those who would like to travel out and those who would like to start from here. And from your submission, I could see that part of your success is attributed to you staying outside, or a knowledge you have gotten from outside. So I want to ask, will you advise that as a young man who want to start a business, acquire some level of knowledge from outside? And you also mentioned that you were working offshore, and that's where you started conceiving your ideas. How do you transcend to your personal business? Do you quit to start, or you were already working once you start your business?
My name is Stephen Osei-Kwakwa. After today, all of you know of me. Sir, please, in summary, the problem here is information asymmetry. Where to find the right information to strategize. My program has taught me that when you are communicating, you leave a call to action. Me, I don't have a question. I want 10 minutes with you, and I'm leaving either with a strategy, or I'm leaving with you convinced that I'm a talent you need to hire in your company.
I love the fire. Do you like this fire? I love it. I love this kind of fire. Let me give him an opportunity to respond to some of the comments or some of the questions, then I'll come back. Chief, come.
The name?
Stephen Osei-Kwakwa.
Stephen Osei-Kwakwa. Stephen, come. Let's work together. You know, God works in mysterious ways. You know, there was a part of the scripture that says that when, I think, is it Jacob met the angel? Or am I right? That he said, if you don't bless me, I'm not going to leave you. You remember that part? That's the same thing. But you know what this guy did right now? What he did is going to answer the first question. The question, fear of rejection. Do you see what he did right now? What did he do?
He was extremely bold, had nothing to lose, went all out.
You see, these are natural born entrepreneurs. They don't take no for an answer. I'm like him. I want to be very honest with you. If I want business from you, you will sleep. If I wake up in the morning, you're on speed dial. In the afternoon, in the evening, until I get what you want. Some people that sit here, I think they know me a little. I won't mention it because they work with some of the service companies and all that. If I want something from you, the Bible says the aggressive taketh it all by force. So what he did right now, there wasn't any fear of rejection. Mr. Abban, either take it or leave it. I leave here with strategy or you hire me. But in my world, I don't think I'm going to hire him. Rather mentor him to become bigger, greater, and smarter than me. That's the beauty of it. If you want something in life, listen, forget about the odds. The odds are there to challenge you, to build you up, to toughen you up. Listen, whenever I'm chasing a business and it's so rough and all that, all that I say to myself that these two shall pass. That's all. I'm going to give you a testimony. Our fellow Ghanaians are very wicked, you know that. In oil and gas industry, I'll tell you, I'm a very straightforward person. There's so much enviness, there's so much jealousy. People don't understand why it should be Rigworld, why it should be, and always they associate Kofi Amoa-Abban as if I'm a devil, but I'm not. You see, when they are busy having fun on Fridays, I'm busy networking with the right industry people. When they are busy doing so many stupid stuff, I'm busy traveling and working hard. Chief, when I formed a JV with Petrofac, then there was a tallow contract and we're bidding for it. And I was bringing Petrofac to Ghana. Remember I told you that story. After I've gone through everything, we've gone through a competitive bid. Tallow has indicated that, oh, Mr. Petrofac Rigworld, you have been successful. We are going to award you the contract. Do you know what my fellow industry players did? At that time, the minister was Napo. There were days that I'll be in my room and cry like a baby. I wake up in the morning and I'm so confused. I just want to hear the voice of the Lord say to me that Kofi to be well, but the voice is not coming. Because Ghanaians went and said that, why is it that always is Kofi Amoa-Abban, Rigworld? No award the contract to him. No, the other Ghanaians that can even do it better. Why should it always be Kofi? Why should it always be Kofi? And trust me, they called Tallow London, Tallow Ghana. They said that if they don't change the JV partner, they will not award the contract. Did you understand coming from? And I said to myself that, you see, when you are in a position in life, and you know that God is the architect of your destiny, that you know that you've not dipped your hands anywhere, that you have a clean heart, you've always stayed in line, you always stayed focused, you go after what belongs to you, you don't go after other people's stuff and all that. Listen, he will pilot and chauffeur your destiny to the expected end. Guess what? When the minister was saying, "Mempene," and it wasn't the minister. If the people in Petroleum Commission, if they were here, I will say it. They all ganged up and all that. One midnight, I took my Bible. My favorite psalm is Psalm 35. Thou contend for me those who contend against me, fight for me those who fight against me, and all that. And I prayed a prayer. And I said, this contract, I will never lose it. Come what? Whatever is meant for me, I'll get it. In the morning, I did some small skirmishes through email because it was a strategic thing I did. Less than 10-15 minutes, I had a phone call. Kofi, we are sorry for all that has been happening. We just had a call with Tallow. They've given us green light. We can sign the contract. I said, So in life, learn how to say no when there is success at the end of the tunnel. Go for it. Forget about what people will say about you. Forget about the negative things they will say about you and all that. Because see, we live in a community in Ghana right now. I'll tell you for a fact. Most of you young guys over here, don't be like the new generational politicians, whereby they learn how to insult, they are going to politics just to enrich themselves, steal money and all that. We cannot be like that, to be honest with you. I can stand as an MP with that mindset and all that. But listen, start businesses. Look for opportunities. And once you start businesses and you build experience, when you get into politics, be that kind of politician that will make changes. Not a politician that will go into government thinking of that, I want to make money and buy a Rolls Royce. I want to go and live in the airport hills and all that. Now, I'll tell you for a fact, I'm a fancy boy from Ejumako. My mom used to have a pharmacy and a bakery. I don't come from any super rich family and all that. But it doesn't mean that I have to be a failure in life. My mom and my dad's destiny is different from my destiny. Because in my destiny, I have a special covenant with God. And my covenant with God is different from the covenant my dad and my mom also has with God. So it's different things. So in business, be aggressive. Don't accept no. If you know that it's going to help you, be persistent, be focused, and go for it. And once the money starts coming, all your hustle, you forget it and be smiling and say, I made it. Thank you. Chief, we'll talk about that after, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm Keku Amkwesi Amuzua. Doc, you made us aware that you commenced your business somewhere in 2010, 2011. That was the period of the NDC era. You have been able to cross over from the NDC to the NPP and now to the NDC. And what we all know in this country is when a business is created within a political regime, if care is not taken, when a new party takes over, your business collapses. What has been your secret? And the challenges we are also having, or most businesses are having, is management challenges. And today we can see that a lot of Indians are now coming in to take over positions where Ghanaians should be able to, because most businessmen don't trust our own people. So I realized that in all your presentation, you were praising your team. What is the uniqueness, or what is that special thing you've been able to navigate your way through the management system in your business? Thank you.
Good evening. Please, my name is Gifty Kodo, offering MBA accounting. Doc, please, I want to find out what role did your family play, or how were you able to manage your family with work? Because you were mentioning you were not at one place. You are always traveling in and out to connect with people because of the kind of vision or the strategy you have for your business. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Eric Amankwa. My question is, if there is no oil and gas industry, which industry will you invest in and why?
I think I like the first question. And the reason why I like the first question is that, so I was very naive about the podcast systems in Ghana. So let me give you an example, a little bit background of myself, so that you know where I'm coming from. So when I finished Legon 2006, I stayed in Ghana for like a year and a half, went to Norway, came to 2010, I started General Rigworld. So technically, see, I've not been in the system, and I didn't know the Ghanaian way of politics. When you asked me about President Kufuor's time I was in, I think, Infantipon first year to, I did 2.5 years. Then I went to Legon and all that. So 2011 was, I think, end of Atamios, and all that. I'm going to tell you a secret about me today. So when I came to Ghana, I didn't know anybody. I told you, I didn't have the network, nothing, zero, and all that. When I started the joint venture with Mex Drilling, and we're making some little money, and all that. You see, today's theme is about what? Innovative strategies. I was very innovative. and I was very strategic at the same time. When my mates and my colleagues, as he said, he works for Menergy. I came to meet all these big companies, Menergy, SeaWorld, and whatever. And we're the giants in the industry at that time. But when I started making money, I was very strategic. During 2012, 13, 14, how do you call it? Atamil's time. I was busy. Listen to me carefully. My strategy was, I was busy building technical capacity. Do you understand coming from? Technical capacity in the way that I heard some of my mates say that, oh, power sesa, you be ju ejumenia, you be collapse ejumenia, near them. And at that time, oil and gas is new, and oil prices per barrel of $120 and all that. So there were days that our day rate for a deep water drill ship was like $600,000. So that was good money. But you see, I didn't waste money to go and buy a property in abroad. I didn't buy even a house. You can ask my colleagues. I was living in Jolu in a 2-bedroom. But at that time, I was saving money to build what technical capacity and to build facilities. Facilities that when there's change of government, whether you like it or not, you have to still use my facility. So I went through the value chain and I realized, oh, having a valve workshop, nobody has it. I partners call. We built the biggest intercrading. Having an oil and gas training center, let me do it. You see those Malaysians in Tema, you know what I'll do? After that, I'll go and lobby and I'll make sure that what the local content law states is that if an indigenous Ghanaian company is able to provide that same service, then which means that the foreign company can pack out. So what I did was on a smart side, during COVID, I'm giving practical examples. When people were indoors, they were, COVID, they say, you know what I was doing? Do you want to know? I went to the market shopping for companies. Yes. That's when I bought what? The Malaysians out. So I was building capacity in a way that when there's change of government, go to Jupiter, go to Mars. It's the only facility in the industry in Ghana, unless you want to ship your items to overseas, which will cost you more, so you still have to what? Use me. So when MPP came, God, hey, my bro, that was the day that I realized that what that Lumba said, you know, Srekwa. See, I'm going to give you real practical stories. I used to, and I'll use what I'm about to say to answer the question about family life. When I used to live in East Legon, I built this nice house, chief, swimming pool, everything. And I thought that coming from Europe with a Western mindset, all humans we are the same. My friends, Monday to Friday, will come to my house. They will chill with me. They will dine with me. They will do everything with me and all that. When they announced 2016 December, MPP has won, these same friends turned against me. They started going to MPP camp. Kofi Amoa-Abban, oh, Ibrahim boy, oh, Mahama boy, Atamil's boy, NDC, I try a company, this company. Charlie, I was so shocked. Meanwhile, all my life, I've seen Atwahoy once. And at that time, because I was so proud, small boy making money, I'm in my corner, I don't know where even Ibrahim's house is, I don't know Atamil's son, I don't know anybody in NDC. They're listening, but they sewed a nice gown to fit me. That, I'm going to tell you a secret. It got to a time, I used to go to, in a week, 7 days, I go to London twice. Guess what? Some people in MPP are saying that if I don't transfer some ownership or part of my company to them, they will cripple me. It became so tough. And I said to myself, no, you're a joke. Then I came back, I sat down, watched all the facilities I've built. Listen, if I go to a tender, Modek, Talo, they don't know who the politicians are. It's a competitive tender. Do you think they care about who the minister or whatever is? If you're not going to use the facilities because of Kofi Amoa-Abban and you're going to incur a lot of petroleum costs by shipping it, that's what? Your business. So the only way I navigated through the storm was the strategy in building technical capacity, in investing and building what? Facilities. Even today, I see some of my friends and they say that MPP buy, oil and gas business, but how come you are still surviving? You have to be strategic. You have to be innovative. You have to have a long-term plan in life. Sacrifice all the short-term plans of thinking, if I buy a house in US right now, I can put out Airbnb. No. Even if you give me money right now today, $10 million, $50 million, I can tell you for a fact, you see me on a flight, I'm going to either Namibia, I'm going to Mozambique, I'm going to build all facilities. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Going back to the question of family life, this is personal, but don't read negative means into it. I married very young, and I was so inexperienced in life. I was like a fool. When I said I was like a fool, I believed in my friends. Johnny just come Accra, you are making money, umbushe. He thought you're on top of the world and everything. So when I got married, I wasn't really focused on the marriage. Sweetheart, in a week, you see me in Ghana 2 or 3 times, busy traveling. When I'm even in Ghana, you see me networking, going to events. But you know what? My ex-wife too was also not impatient with me. So it wasn't easy for me. So I got divorced. Do you understand where I'm coming from? But in all this, you know what I realized? Sometimes you have to sacrifice something to gain something. If I had to sacrifice the marriage to pull Rigworld and pull the family along, I have to do it. No, the boys are happy. I beg you guys. This is my personal one. It's personal. Diana, it cost my marriage. I'm being real. And it's my fault. It's not her fault. It's my fault. I wasn't focused. I was so busy. I wanted to grow a company. And when I look ahead of me, I look behind me, I look my sideways. If you're J-Doom, the only person I see is God and success. So I have to go for God and success. But it doesn't mean that you have to go through the same. In yours, if you are still married, be strategic. Communicate with your partner. Let your partner know your challenges. Let your partner understand that you are building an empire. The empire belongs to the two of you. Because I said that I was immatured. So may I accept my mistakes. But in your case, don't go and say Kofi Amoa-Abban said you have to sacrifice, please. No. That's not what I'm communicating. So I think that's what family life. And when you ask me today, any industry that I want to play in, hey, it's a difficult question. To me, at this stage of my life, wherever I can do to make changes, impact positively on the society and all that, whatever business that can hire Ghanaians, build capacity, I think I'm open to it. So far as it's a genuine business, but I cannot pinpoint my next move or what I want to do next and all that. Thank you.
You talk about it, right? So who else? No.
Hello, good evening. My name is Eugene, and I'm with MBA Accounting and Finance. My question has indirectly been answered. I'll still ask another one. My question was, when you were speaking, you mentioned Wendy. So I wanted to know, where is Wendy? And now, my second question, someone asked me to ask on her behalf. Please, are you now remarried or you are single? Thank you.
Or you are single. Into 18 or more, to America. But you've asked the question already. Oh, you haven't? Okay.
Same to you. Thank you. Dr. Edinkra, I just want to find out how do you bounce back from your failed strategies? Do you have challenges, and how do you bounce back on those challenges in the progress of your venture?
Okay. Can you pass it over?
Thank you, Doc. Thank you. My name is Felix Leu. Doc, I want to go back to the basis. In 2010, you said you registered the company. Between 2010 and 2013, and we all know the oil and gas industry is a capital-intensive industry. Looking at the machines displayed here, so for you to partner with a company and your equity is 10%, my question is, how were you able to finance the equity? Is it from the land you talk about or a bank loan? At that stage, how were you able to pay for a 10% equity? Thank you.
Last question. Someone said quick loan. Quick loan there. Any oil and gas are seven. Data and airtime.
Thank you very much. My name is Abubakar Kotoma, MBA Accounting. Doc, I will not ask about how you raise your starting capital, but if you want to educate us, you can do that. But what I want to find out from you is that, listening to the talk, I expected to hear something around your succession plan or business succession, because a company, as a going concern, one of the critical things that matters is sustainability. So at least there should be a way of thinking about the succession, because all that we hear and have observed is that the business is revolving around you. So in your absence, how will the business be sustained? Thank you.
Great. Okay, so good evening, everyone. My name is Kwesi from MABC Evening. My question has to do with, we all understand clearly that the industry is a very capital-intensive one. So in Doc's initial presentation, he made mention of low-hanging fruits. And then I think one colleague here also spoke about some low-hanging fruits. He mentioned those in relation to catering and accommodation. What are some of those low-hanging fruits, so that those of us who don't have the capacity to go into this industry on that level can, pluck those ones? Thank you.
Five questions, I think five. One said, how do I bounce back from failed challenges? What was that question? In my world, I always tell people something that the word failure doesn't exist in my dictionary. If I start something and my expected goal is to get to this point and I'm not able to get it, to you, you might think it's failure, but to me it's still success, because I've learned something that it's not being taught in books. That's experience. So in terms of bouncing back and all that, there are some industries, it's like you have to make some funny mistakes and you're still learning on it and all that. And even today, I still do it. I still make certain mistakes. in some of the investments and other. A very good example is that we had one of our deep water drill ship go to Namibia, and one of the mistakes I did, because I was so carried away that we are going to have, Namibia is the emerging Guyana of Africa. It has the Orange Basin, which is huge. It's like a lot of oil find and all that. And I was so excited that I'm going to be the first indigenous Ghanaian company to go and operate over there. Quickly, I went there. I had even of the team. I bought a brand new car over there, got a house, registered the company, had a beautiful office and all that. And guess what? My own fellow Ghanaians did their thing again. Why Kofi Amoa-Abban? Bibia Kofi Amoa-Abban. So they should divide their contracts. So this time it happened. I got a small pie of it. So it hasn't really failed, but my expected goal wasn't achieved. But I learned something over there. Do you understand? So the next time I want to go into any country to invest, I know how to do it wisely. Do you understand coming from? Not repeating that mistake. So it's easier for me to bounce back. 10% equity. How was I able to finance it? Come again? Oh, sometimes it can be sweat equity. This is simple. Oh, you see, it's a local content law. Sometimes you don't finance it. They carry you. Do you understand coming from? They can carry you and give you the 10%. It's a local content requirement. It's part of the LI 2204 and all that. But if you want more, and depending on the project, the investment involved and all that, and you have the funds to do it. But I started 10% gradually, whereby they carry you, they give you 10% of the dividends or whatever profit sharing agreement you have with them and all that. So that's why I said that you have to start like from somewhere and all that. So it's not always that you have to pay for the 10%, no. And is it low-hanging fruit? Jamal, do you want to talk about low-hanging fruit? Jamal, do you want to do it? Oh, since you have experience over there, I think let's clap for Jamal. Jamal works with E&I. He's with the supply chain department. So he has much knowledge about some of these things.
I didn't expect to speak today, but then, yeah. So in the oil and gas industry, low-hanging fruit, what we normally look at is something like catering services. Catering services is something that you don't need so much experience to do. There's manpower, there's immigration. Manpower, what do you need for manpower? Manpower, you need to have a good technical team who will manage the individuals. The individuals are basically the people that you are going to give out to the companies. You don't need so much money. You need one or two people, a finance guy, an HR guy, and once you're able to get a contract, you get the people and then you give them to the companies. They pay for the services they offer to them. There's catering, there's immigration, general services. I might even say a bit of security as well. IT supplies, so computers and all those kind of services. But then, yeah, you have to compete with the major players. But then once you get your certifications from the Lenovo's, from the Cisco's, it's quite easy for you to do, because once you are a distributor for them, they basically pay you to go there to bring the things and then give to the companies. So these are a few examples. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamal. I think I'll show you one trick how to start some of the business. How many of you have heard the word OEMs? OEMs. Like equipment, machine, OEM parts, and all that. Manufacturers. So there's an easier way to actually penetrate the industry. There are a lot of established equipment manufacturers and spare part manufacturers and all that. And these are consumables we use in oil and gas, be it mechanical, electrical, or whatever and other, you can start by representing them in Ghana. Do you understand coming from? Whereby you have that exclusivity to represent them in this region. Automatically, if I go to them, if any of you go to them, they will just refer that, go to Mr. So-and-so, he is the agent or representative. And once you get into that space, you can start the procurement services over there. Once you are making money, you build capacity. If you've identified anything in the value chain that you want to do based on your technical competency or your skill set and all that, then you start developing yourself in that area. So it's very easy. You can even start from the OEM parts and all that. Like if you go to some of the petrochemical industry, you see like companies like supplying, let's say some oil refinery with certain machinery parts and all that. So it's the same thing over in upstream oil and gas. You know, you start small. Once you have a foot into it, you keep building capacity, you network, you start thinking like, you know, strategically. When you go to conferences and events, as your vice chancellor said, don't go after the food and be eating anyhow. Sit in the technical presentations, listen to what is coming in the few years, talking about energy transition. How do you position yourself that by 2032, if there's no more fossil fuel, how is Rigworld going to survive? Will Rigworld also transform to become a, let's say, a green company and all that? You know, you have to be thinking about all this. The thing about entrepreneurship is that if you're not lucky, sometimes you become like a madman. People will be talking to you and they think you're listening, but no, you're not listening. Your mind is somewhere and all that. Because running a business in this country is difficult. I'll lie to you. Especially when you are starting up. You see a lot of people, they'll come and give you all the motivational speeches, and it's this and it's that, and don't sleep and all that. And those days are old days of doing. Listen, just have a good network. You see, your network is your wealth. Do you understand coming from? If you are used to going to a Peteshi bar all the time, it's only a Peteshi people you see around you. Am I lying? If you are always in the midst of, let's say, millionaires, if there are three, understand that you'll be the fourth millionaire. You know that? You know that theory, that equation. But if you are working with three Peteshi boys, make sure that automatically you are the fourth Peteshi guy. Or so someone like me, the question that someone asks whether I'm still single or I'm engaged, and I'm not searching. I'm happily engaged and all that. So like yesterday when I came back from the US, I came like 11 o'clock. I was so tired. Then I said I have to go to the office end of month. You know, salaries when you be a big problem. So I have to do a lot of approvals. And I was watching my partner and I said, listen, you know, she's done some stuff at home that we should do massage. And I said, babe, 7 o'clock, I have to go to Churchill. I have some meeting over there. Do you understand coming from? So some of these things, going back to the question there, you see, your partner needs to understand your business. Your partner needs to buy into your vision. Do you understand coming from? One thing I say about marriage couples nowadays is that when they're even doing business, they want to hide it from their partners and all that. But let your partner understand, listen, the purpose for which you're on this planet, your ambitions and all that. I'm very ambitious, so I made sure that I went in for a partner who will understand me, who will not say, Kofi, too quiet too much. Kofi will need you, will be nagging near there. Then there's a Koichi Baku. You understand coming from? Because at some point, I'm good with the business. Maybe family life, I'm not good. So she needs to teach me. Did you understand coming from? Because I'm also open world to learn. That's simple. Mr. Moderator, thank you.
Dr. Kofi Amoa-Abban. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Dr. Kofi Amoa-Abban.
And trust me, Doc, we've been impacted. We've been impacted. Have you been impacted? Let's go to the world and inspire. 5 things I'm taking away, Doc, this evening. 1 is to form strategic partnership. Form very strategic. Right? The other is to dare to negotiate beyond the 10%. And that is a skill you must have. If you want to go into the local content, and also think global, but act local. your network. Be strategic and innovative. And last but not the least, be consistent. Not to do so. If you are wache, be wache. If you are gobe, be gobe. Don't mix the two. No be so. So thank you so much, Doc. Thank you. A lot we've taken away this evening. But to just share the most profound appreciation, let me welcome on stage and with a round of applause, Madam. A minute. Just give me a minute, please. To do this for me, Erica. Madam Erica, are you here? Madam Erica Ufuriata, a round of applause.
Good evening, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am quite honored to stand before you to propose a vote of thanks on behalf of the School of Graduate Studies and its entire student body. First and foremost, all glory and thanks be to the Almighty God who has made today's program a success. A very special note of appreciation to our guest speaker, Dr. Kofi Amoa-Abban, CEO of Rigworld Solutions. Your powerful insights into dynamic strategies for global industry leadership have challenged our thinking. We are grateful for your time, your passion, and the real-world experiences you generously shared with us today. My key takeaway is to network with the right people. To the Vice Chancellor of the University of Professional Studies, Accra, Professor John Mauto, we all say thank you for your presence. We also thank our Pro-Vice Chancellors, Professor Emmanuel Asamoah and Professor Samuel Aintree, as well as our dedicated registrar, Mrs. Lauren Jan. To all deans, heads of departments, faculty members, and administrative staff, thank you for being here. To my fellow students, GRASAC UPSA, thank you all for your commitment and making today's program a success. A big thank you to our sponsors, Rigworld Solutions, ACE Medical Insurance, Imperial General Assurance, the Minerals Commission, and ACCA. Finally, to the organizing committee, the technical team, volunteers, media, and to every one of you here, thank you for your time. Thank you, and may we all continue to embody scholarship with professionalism. God bless you all.